These two father and son were sitting in a car stuck in a traffic jam and arguing with each other. Suddenly, from the van in front of them, someone breaks the door of their car and attacks it with a bang. Those who were out of the car sit back in the car being scared. Is the attacker a human or an animal? It is not clear. His feet were like an animal, and there was a wing instead of his one hand. The police take this strange creature, and we found out that due to some disease in the city, humans have begun to take the shape of animals. The government is looking for a cure for this disease. Francois, whom we saw in the car, his wife was also a victim of this disease, who was admitted to the hospital. Francois wanted to take care of his wife himself, but due to her deteriorating condition, doctors advise her to stay in the hospital. When he goes to meet her, we see her face, which is exactly like an animal. When Francois tells his son to meet his mother, he replies, "What will I do by meeting her?" Now she didn't even understand what I said. Francois says she will be happy to see you. You go. The hotel where Francois works, the people there have told him that a new hospital has been built nearby with concrete. The hospital is very strong, because the human-like animals will be kept there. When it was night, all the sick people were being shifted to that hospital. But because of the mess, the bus falls into the water. Many such animal-like humans are killed and many are lost. At night, Francois' son is also scared to see a person like this in the window of his house. But when he looked again, there was no one there. He thinks this is his illusion. As soon as Francois finds out about this accident, he goes to the place of the accident to find out about his wife. And the strange thing is that he finds out from the police officer that his wife was neither in dead nor in among living ones. She was lost somewhere. After the scene, we see Francois' son playing tug-of-war with the children at school. The one who had defeated his losing team in just a few minutes. That is, he had a lot of strength in him. He didn't even know how. In all this, his nail was also broken. So when he was going home, his friend stopped him and asked him about the party on Friday, in which he didn't want to go for some reason. When he comes home, he notices that his spine bone is coming out. He is afraid that he is also becoming an animal. In this fear, he starts taking a bath. But this was not the dirt that would go off. On the other hand, Francois meets the same police officer in the supermall, from whom he found out about his wife's disappearance, who still says that your wife is nowhere to be found. Her name is not on the list of dead people, and we are taking good care of the people who are alive. During these talks, suddenly someone shouts loudly in the mall. When everyone gathers in chaos, that man says that I saw a strange person here. Everyone goes to the side from there, while Francois goes ahead to see that strange person, because he thought that maybe his wife would be here. But here was a man who looked like an octopus, who, after seeing the police officer with Francois, was trying to run away from here. He threw a lot of things in his hand toward the officer, but the officer was also very sharp and she caught this man. After catching him, Francois also sees a little girl here, who had become a bird. Coming out of the mall, the police officer asks Francois, "Who did you buy so much stuff for?" Francois says that nothing, I am just going camping. I will need this stuff at that time. Although he bought this stuff to find his wife, he thought that after that accident, his wife is lost in the jungle. He had hung his and his son's clothes in the jungle, because now his wife's sense of smell had become very sharp. He thought that by smelling these clothes, his wife would reach him. Now, because it is the order of the government that these people cannot keep such sick people at home. But Francois wanted to do the same thing. He wanted to take care of his wife himself. And in this way, he needed all this stuff. When he comes home, he tells his son, "Today, 2 animal-shaped people have been seen in the mall. And there are many such people who have been lost after that accident. And I think your mom is also lost. You don't worry, we will go to the jungle on Friday and find him." But now Francois' son was going to a party on Friday, because today a girl had invited him to this party. Francois unwillingly allows him to go to the party, says, "Remember, you have to come home before 8 o'clock. Everyone was having a lot of fun at this party. And here suddenly Francois' son gets dizzy. A girl who sees his bad condition and gives him a tablet. So instead of eating that tablet, he licks it like a dog. After that, he goes to the jungle without fear. When he opens his eyes in the morning, he was in the jungle. He felt like something was stuck in his throat. He comes home immediately. His lips had changed a lot. Along with that, his complexion had also changed. When his dad comes to see him in the bathroom, he quickly closes the bathroom door and puts his hand in his throat and pulls out something, which was a feather. This boy had now understood that he too was turning into an animal. Now he goes with his dad to the jungle, with his dog to find his mother. Francois' son was calling out to his mother loudly, but when they don't find anyone, these people get tired and go to sleep. In the middle of the night, their dog suddenly started barking loudly, and he goes to a tree where a monkey-shaped person is on top. When these people go to check him, suddenly an eagle-shaped person attacks Francois' son. Before he kills Francois' son, looking at his lips, he understands that Francois' son is just like him. He is turning into an animal and this will not harm him. However, this eagle-shaped person still hurt Francois' son. So Francois takes his son to the hospital, but he didn't want to go, because by going there, everyone would know the truth, that he is turning into an animal. But on the way, they meet the police officer, who asks Francois if there is a problem with his son. Francois says no, just a dog bit him. The police officer says, whatever it is, he has to go to the hospital. She comes to the hospital with both of them. Army doctors bandage him here, and the police officer tells Francois that the government has called the army here to control all this. Anyway, Francois goes home with his son, and when he reaches home, his son strangely takes off his bandage, opens his legs and starts licking his wound. Even when he goes to school, when the rats speak in his lab, he screams loudly and silences all the rats, as if the rats are understanding him. After which Francois' son goes out to the river. He had eaten a raw fish from the river, and a woman had also seen all this. Before the woman did anything to him, he ran away from there. In the jungle, he again meets that eagle-shaped man, who was trying to fly and had succeeded to a great extent. He gives him his caught raw fish. He talks to him, and this eagle-shaped man tells him that, I am changing into a bird. I want to fly, but I fall again and again, and this hurts me a lot. Do you know of any place where I can learn to fly easily? This boy says, yes, why not? He takes him to a pond. From the pond, he pulls the extra branches of the tree to the side, and tells him that you can fly here freely, and even if you fall down, you will fall into the water. You will be not hurt. Here in Francois' restaurant, suddenly an animal-shaped man attacks, that too on Francois. Francois notices that there was another animal-shaped man there, who saw this big animal and ran away from there. Maybe she could have been Francois' wife. He was thinking the same thing here. When the animal that had attacked him was screaming loudly, before all the customers sitting in this hotel get scared, the owner of this hotel tells the animal to keep quiet. Surprisingly, the animal listened to the owner. The animal had chains in its paws, because of which it could not run back into the jungle, and went to the customer's side. And in a little while, the police come and catch this animal. Francois also went with the officer to look for another big animal in the jungle, but there they do not find anyone. But he finds his son's cycle, from which when he comes home and goes to the sink to wash his hands, he finds some nails in the sink. These nails were broken by Francois' son and thrown in it. Francois had understood that. Now his son was turning into an animal. It is shown that one of his teeth broke in the class and fell, because of which when everyone makes fun of him, he goes away from there and reaches the eagle-shaped man. He talks to him, watches his practice, and calls the bandages on his wounds. Surprised, now his dad tells him to show me his hands. When Francois' son did not show him his hands, now it was confirmed to him that his son was turning into an animal. Francois' son also runs away from there, but Francois catches him. He was telling his dad, please dad, leave me, don't catch me. But his dad says, no, I know what is happening to you. You are turning into an animal. As soon as you become, you will be my son. Just tell me what changes are coming inside you, so that I can find out which animal you are turning into. Francois' son says that now I hear a lot of clears from far away, and he asks about my strange nails. Francois asks, does your friends know this? To which he replies, no, no one knows. Now he was asking his dad, will you keep talking to me with chains like mom? His dad gets quiet for a while, and then he says, not now, but I don't know about the future. The next day, there was a party at Francois' restaurant. When Francois' son came there, his nails had grown a lot. His dad scolds him and says, why didn't you cut these nails? He felt so bad for scolding his dad, that he attacked his own dad and injured him. But in fact, Francois was trying to save him from the eyes of the people. He also keeps scissors on his neck, and threatens him to cut the nails, and after cutting the nails, we see that Francois' son was now meeting his friend. These two come very close. At this time, the girl touches Francois' son's backbone, and she says, I know all the changes that are coming inside you, but I don't care. On the other hand, their classmate also found out the truth about Francois' son. He now comes in front of Francois' son with a strange device, whose voice doesn't say anything to humans, but animals get very annoyed with him. This boy annoys Francois' son a lot and says, I have known your truth for a long time. Francois' son can't take it anymore, and in a fit of anger, he slaps the boy on the face. There were marks on his cheek. Due to all these things, the situation had also worsened. The police and the army were now looking for him in the jungle. And here he is helped by the eagle-like man, whom he helped in flying. While flying, he is taken to a jungle from here. The police and the army also reached there. Francois's son had now gone to the other side of the river, but the car could not run in the water, so the army shoots at them, and that eagle-like man, who had become a friend of Francois's son, dies in this attack. Francois's son, as if he had accepted this place as his home. He eats fruits here and bathes in the river. When he comes out, there were strange marks on his back, as if his body was changing very fast. Francois's son, now while walking, reaches such a part of the jungle where there were many animal-like humans like him, and here he also meets his mom, who recognizes him by her smell. She could not speak like a human, but she was sending her son to a cave again and again, as if she is saying that this is a safe place for you. Emile noticed that some people had turned into snakes, some into monkeys, and one of them into a pig, and a child had changed into a chameleon. Everyone was living here very peacefully, before the military fired smoke here. Doing this creates a commotion here. The army uses a special device to make some sounds here, such sounds that bothered the animals a lot. These sounds also bother Francois's son a lot, as he is also caught by the military, but the girl who had turned into a chameleon hides herself on the tree and escapes from them. The police had now come to the city with Francois's son, where his dad meets the police, and tells them that this is my son, who had gone to the jungle at night for no reason. Francois's son? Because he was still looking like a human, so the police do not have any doubt. They give him a paper to sign. Francois's son, when he could not sign on it, he roars in anger, and so the police suspect that he is transforming into an animal. They were about to catch him, but here Francois beats the police, signs on the paper given to him, and takes his son away from here, while the officer, who had helped Francois from the beginning of the movie, now finds out that something is wrong. That's why the military is now following them. Seeing this, Francois's son gets scared, and he asks his dad, "If they catch me and lock me up in the health center, will you come to meet me?" Francois says, "It is not possible that they can catch you. I am with you." Here Francois's son also tells him that, "I saw my mom in the jungle." Francois also feels good to hear this. He quickly leaves his car in the middle of the jungle, and tells his son to go and be free in this jungle. "You will be happy here." Without wasting time, Francois's son had run away from there. Francois had tears in his eyes, tears of joy because he had saved his son from the torture of the government on him. And with all this, the film story ends here.